wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast.
Come? Alright, I'll do my own bit for myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey Dave.
Hey Boner.
I apologize if I've told this one before. This is not an original joke. Why did Mickey get hit with a snowball?
Because he was trying to get to the other side?
Because Donald ducked. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boder.
I get it! Donald Duck, he's a character.
Yeah, I realized probably about 30 seconds of airtime. I'm pretty sure I've told this one on the show before. It's not original. It snowed this morning. Last I knew, my house is still without internet. Yay, thank you, Spectrum.
Nothing wrong with fun
So
jokes.
I was like, I'ma make it topical. What's something about snow? And then everything was garbage. That was the least garbage. Which is how I rank my games on the Citadel. Everything is garbage, but this is the least garbage. Elex was not the least garbage. Anyway, hi everybody. How are you doing? Welcome, Love Alec. Happy April snow. Demon Dragon confirming, yeah, still no internet at the house. Yeah, how you been, Dave? How you doing?
Good. Well, you know what? I'll just start with the awkward topic of I have a cold. Do you know how excited I am that I got a cold in my classroom and we're not going to be remote for 2 weeks? One of my students sneezed in my face and we didn't have to 2319 and wrap everybody up and scrape a layer of skin off. It's awesome. Super excited that my strategy of get the early sicknesses out of the way so that when my kids get really sick in a couple of months, I won't have a debilitating illness, chest cough, or other things that they give and get and share because I love my students.
I can't tell how serious or sarcastic you are.
I wish I wasn't being I wish I was being sarcastic because classrooms are just big old petri dishes.
One of my friends is an EMT, and her video on TikTok with the most views is just someone getting into an ambulance. Into the COVID crock pot we go. Yeah.
I mean, that is a very, very staunch reality of a lot of these services and things nowadays.
I have discussions I want to bring up, but it's off topic. Y'all can ask me about whatever later. This past weekend I visited my parents. It was cool. I hung out with my dad and played Risk, like the game he was playing on his computer. I just had it on my phone. I sorted through a ton of stuff that was like at my parents' place from when I lived there. It was just all in boxes, and it's like, all right, what do I want to keep? These. What do I want to throw out or garage sale? These. And I was very happy that this was the bigger pile. I was like, do not hoard. Do not hoard. You cannot keep all of it. So I had a good weekend though. It was good times.
Good.
Let's see. Someone in the last 7 days that didn't have quite as good a time. Yesterday, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. We're going to go with Viibae. Veibae. A VTuber who is affiliated with some well-known brands. She's known for her variety streams. Yesterday, she was live reacting to a video called Midwest Fur Fest when something inappropriate was visible for a few seconds, which does not help the furry connotations, whatever. This ended up resulting in a short ban. She said on Twitter, 24-hour suspension for showing something dumb. I'll be back tomorrow. And used the opportunity to plug some merchandise that was dropping on that day anyway. Did she do it on purpose? Probably not. But it's just do not display a video on your stream that you have not pre-screened. We've seen it time and again.
If it ain't your own stuff, Steve, don't show it on the stream, Steve. So
Okay.
Steve's banned from showing videos on DAM 314.
What did I miss?
A lot of things, a lot of Fridays, a lot
There's
of.
a fantastic looking face and
Oh, yes.
cackle over there.
Oh yes, because it comes from the term, Bobby. People think you like dogs a little too much. It's safe.
Cool.
It's safe to show on stream, Dave. Okay, Steve, person I trust greatly with my personal business and things like that. Whoa!
Yeah, good. Well, that's how you lost your privileges. Okay. Oh, you don't have to. I appreciate you.
You should, for context.
I don't need
You know
it.
what? You can post it in the memes in Discord.
It can
and
go
add
in
'em.
Discord. That's fine. It can go in the Weekend Wednesday Discord. Do we have a memes channel in the Insane Games Discord?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
specifically requested it, and I have filled it with
Good.
memes, and
Put
a
it
couple other
there.
folks have done, and
Put
I'm
it there,
really excited
champ.
about
that. Okay. So that's who's banned. V-Bay, but it was just a 24-hour stream. She's back. I assume by now she's back and live and all that. So not too bad in the grand scheme of ones that we've seen before. So, what's coming out in the next 7 days, Steve? What do we have to look forward to?
Yes, Steve, what is coming out in the next 7 days? Since you pulled up all the videos and programmed them in, why don't you introduce them?
The one without a mic?
Yeah. He's so close. Here on Nerd Vision. We're talking on the 21st, coming out for the Nintendo Switch and PS4, Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. A franchise that has a lot of legacy. It was based on a 1986 arcade game under the name of Kiki Kiki Kai Kai. And I practiced saying that a couple times.
Good. You should.
I was very excited to hear that this is getting a earnest redoing, because the last game that came out in the Pocky and Rocky franchise was in 2001 for the Game Boy Advance. It was Pocky, Rocky, and Betty, I think, or Ghost. Betty was a ghost.
And this looks like Switch, PS4.
Yep, that's what I said at the top.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. It's like, okay, GBA. I'm expecting Switch. PS4 was a cool ad.
Yep. It's a shoot 'em up franchise. You can play as either the Shrine Maiden Pocky, or for some reason in the American audience, they don't assume we know what a Tanuki is, but a Tanuki, Rocky. They're also adding 3 new characters to the franchise, and I'm very excited to see if they make it past this one installment. You are fighting evil spirits and bad things to try to clear out the shrine and the local area around said shrine using Pocky Rocky or the other adventurers, a samurai, a shrine goddess, or a thunder beast. It looks
Pocky,
like
Locky, and Bob.
Oh, yeah. It looks like it's going to be a really good game. It's exciting if you're into these sort of shoot 'em ups, but if it's not for you, this one will not do it for you.
It looks kind of niche, but still exciting that it's going to be out.
This was one that many people, all the comments on the YouTube were talking about how that everyone has because Nintendo does such a great job of keeping their historical games safe, that they had this, the words Raspberry Pi were mentioned a lot. Let me put it to you that way.
Yar.
The next game, it's topical, but it's not topical for the reasons you'd think it would be. Coming out for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X on the 21st is Chernobylite. For those of you who aren't aware of the setting, in 1986, in what is known as Kiev Oblast in the Ukraine, a nuclear meltdown happened in and now is known as the Chernobyl exclusion zone.
Yep.
2 nuclear reactors melted down, and by melted down, not like here in New York where we've had a reactor meltdown. No, they exploded, and just sent nuclear waste everywhere in the air, created a whole bunch of unpleasantries.
That's why it's not just the power plant. There is the exclusion zone, aforementioned.
It is a 1,000-mile area. This game taking place inside of that area. You play as Ukrainian physicist Igor. Oh man, I practiced this. Kimenuk. You are searching for your fiancée, Tatiana, who had disappeared in the incident 30 years prior, and you are trying to get some closure. Apparently some dreams and visions are coming to him. The hitch of this one that separates it from being just a depressing game about humanity is the fact that there's apparently a substance found inside of the exclusion zone called Chernobylite. And it draws these creatures called shadows. And stop me if you've heard this one, but there's an evil Russian scientist trying to harness the Chernobylite and create the shadows and fight these things. I'm going to get this game because it looks incredibly interesting. Gameplay-wise, having to use the Geiger counter to figure out if areas are safe to go to or not.
Okay.
Rumor is that they were doing a franchise where you could donate that would then support the folks of Ukraine. And
Okay.
I have a feeling that the PS5 and Xbox Series X releases will have something tied to that. But
Nice.
on the 21st, they'll probably announce that.
Okay.
Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's something that's been in development for a while, and they probably did face a really hard decision of, do we release this right now because of, real world events that are happening in the area. The power plant at Chernobyl has been hit a few times, at least. I haven't been keeping super up to date, but it's not gone well. So I'm a little surprised that they're going forward with the release. That said, it villainizes Russians, and that's okay. Looking at it that way, it feels like what you were saying of the story background. It feels like a very 80s mindset towards nuclear power and towards Russia in general. And so it's interesting. I would have been like, oh, well, that's a little, if it came out last year. But now I'm like, okay, yeah, Russia is kind of the big bad guy in everyone's mind now.
This game was
Again.
originally released on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One in 2020.
Oh, okay, so this is
2019 or 2021.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is a re-release
for the next-gen consoles,
okay.
PS5 and Series X.
Okay, so interesting. And that I still stand by, they definitely, especially since it was already out, they could have gotten away with not releasing this update. But the idea of using it to take some of the income to raise money for Ukraine is, I think, a good kind of counterbalance to that, and saying, okay, yeah, let's release.
Yeah.
So I don't do survival horror that much as a genre. But it looks like it's executed pretty well in that, from what I can see in the trailer. I don't do horror games in general.
I love games like this, especially at the open world adventure kind, where you decide how you encounter the thing, as opposed to the forced perspective, like, look at it! Look at the abject horror! Where it's like, all right, thank you so much, it's so scary.
Still want you to play Fear one of these days.
This game...
Dave, we need to finish Bendy.
Oh,
right.
yeah. And the third game, move over, Brad Pitt. Stick it up your bumhole, Ocean's 48. It's Teardown, coming out for the Windows, PC, and other such computing devices on the 21st. It is a sandbox action puzzle game, 20 missions, 5 levels. You have 1 minute to complete a heist, to destroy an object, or steal a thing.
Okay, yes! I've seen Jacksepticeye playing this.
This game looks awesome. From everyone who has played advanced copies of it, this game is a lot of fun. And I am
Is
uber excited.
this like was it like already out on Epic and now it's coming to Steam, or do you know what the or was it just like we were seeing early access and
Early
now it's
access.
officially out? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, like the way that it's built that everything can break down. Um and there's so many like weapons and things that you can use. Uh Jack achieved like a .01 frame rate. Like he just like the game froze for a good 40 seconds at one point when he just tried to have all of the physics happen at once.
I'm gonna internet myself one more time. Who's Jacksepticeye?
YouTuber.
Ah, okay.
Um, yeah. It's funny and such. Like it's cool. Like I would probably get this if I would mostly play in sandbox mode of just what can I destroy. But they are objectives in the main game. You can destroy a bunch of stuff, sure, but maybe you need to get 3 pieces of art from this really rich dude's mansion. Um, and destroying stuff too early is going to be counterproductive to that because then the authorities will be on you and you won't get your chance to get stuff and escape. So, yeah, that game looks super cool. It's got kind of the blocky thing going on. Like miniaturized Minecraft as far as here's a discrete unit. It is this block, and it is going to move around until it like disappears from being on fire, and it does kind of help the idea of everything can break and not having to worry about procedurally figuring out how different surfaces crack and add more polygons and stuff. So
Looking really exciting. The game itself does allow for adjusted difficulties because 1 minute is a pretty tight schedule for a lot of us out there and things like that. So they do allow for things, and they do have, as Boder had mentioned, a sandbox mode. And it looks like a lot of fun. And all three of these games, I don't feel like you can go wrong. If any of them piqued your curiosity, definitely check them out. And make sure to tweet at them that you heard about them here on the Nerd Glasses. That's all the games that are coming out in the next 7 days. Thank you so much, Nerd Vision, for hosting those trailers for us.
before we get into newsy type stuff, what do you anything new that you've been playing or watching? Nothing for me on my account. I haven't even been watching more Evangelion. When our internet was out, we're like, oh, we can't watch YouTube. Maybe we can watch Evangelion. No, that's online too. Yeah, not really anything new. Spent a lot of time working on a YouTube video that should be coming out next week, as well as working on getting stuff set for our St. Jude Play Life fundraising team, which
Aw,
I think
yeah.
we'll be talking more about next week.
Sure.
So,
Um,
but how about you?
Finished Valheim last night on Love Alex stream. It was a lot of fun to get to do that. Is that conspiracy baseball on the shelf behind Boder? Well, so funny you should mention, because it is. But we'll talk about conspiracy baseball in a little bit.
I think the terms are that as soon as conspiracy baseball is brought up, it must be discussed.
Well, then.
I didn't even see he was there this time. I had grown complacent.
So, this is a topic. Would you like some tinfoil? You're going to tinfoil or you're going to hat yourself? All right. So, this story was first broken on Bloomberg and caught on by a lot of different writers and different sites and things like that everyone was really jazzed about, which we talked about Sega Super Game.
Why is this a conspiracy baseball one? This was a topic I noticed, but oh no.
So the games our Sega Super Game are being handled by Sega Sammy Holdings Incorporated.
Yep.
For those
And
of
we
you that-
talked about Super Game last week in reference to potential NFT business and such.
Yes. So going more into that, there's a lot of lines being drawn, and there's not a lot of concrete evidence because all of this is unconfirmed by Sega Sammy Holdings Incorporated. But here are some of the facts that we have out there. We know that Sega Super Game is going to feature Crazy Taxi, that has been in development for over a year, but it is an unconfirmed 2 to 3 years away from release. Whatever they are doing with it is going to take a lot of time. Um, the other title that is whispered confirmed is Jet Set Radio Future, which I'm really jazzed about. But they damn well better
Jet Set Radio. Yep.
get the soundtrack right in that game, because otherwise it's just a frisbee, a very expensive and stupid frisbee.
Yeah, the soundtrack was a lot. That game had a lot of unique things that went into it. I never played Jet Set Radio, but I did play Jet Set Radio Future. And because I don't know if this is what you're going to get into with all this, but because Super Game has potential ties to crypto and NFTs, people are like, oh, the graffiti tags in Jet Set Radio, those are going to be NFTs, aren't they?
That is one of the prevailing theories. Another one of them being the idea that Sega Sammy Holdings Incorporated, currently Sammy was a manufacturer only of arcade cabinets, specifically pachinko machines, which took a big hit during the pandemic when people weren't able to go to a place and touch a surface that everyone had been touching currently. So they moved in, and in November they got a license with Microsoft for their Azure cloud platform to be able to share and do work on and things like that. Now, if there's anything we know from companies that operate in the arcade game business and have done a lot of the work that they have done in the past, is they are very interested in NFTs. They're very interested in cryptocurrency, and they're very interested in putting microtransactions out the wazoo in their current games, which is where the tinfoil comes in. The two conflicting theories are that if Microsoft and specifically Xbox Live Game Pass are to host this remake of Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio Future, my money is on the fact that it just will not be vomiting NFTs left, right, and center. Microsoft is smarter
Yeah.
than that.
Yep, I agree.
And Microsoft really not interested in having that on their service. However, just because they're using a Microsoft item to work on does not mean that, because they don't have one of their own, that doesn't mean that it's going to be on Game Pass, as so many people are, or like
no.
exclusivity to Game Pass or things like that.
Yeah.
That so many people are theorizing, but also that these games are indefinitely. Knowing that they're designed by people that want to get you one quarter at a time, these games are going to be full of microtransactions. It's just a fact of how it's going to go. The game might have.
I hate that we're at a point where I'm like, oh, regular microtransactions totally fine. Bilk me for all the money you want as long as they're not NFTs. It's like, God damn it, this is how the Overton window moves.
I've noticed that I've said the same thing, but I'm hoping that they borrow some gameplay mechanics from a game that both Boder and I are going to be playing tomorrow on the weekend Wednesday, the House of the Dead remake, where when you die and the continue screen comes up, at first Steve and I were looking and I said, there's not a continue system where you buy continues, is there? Because I saw the plus button and I looked at it and I realized, nope, you use in-game points to buy more continues.
Okay.
So therefore loosening your final score for if you beat the game, but at the same point,
Letting you get through the game.
yes.
Okay.
So here's hoping.
Is it possible to go into negative points? We'll find out tomorrow. I'll find out tomorrow.
It's not. We already tried. Just to make sure. So it'll be interesting. Sega Super Game is still not defined. Defined in so much as one product, but they are definitely looking at Fortnite very heavily, and they like all the things that they see there, namely the money. And they want some of that money, but they're not going to make another Fortnite because, although a Sega All Stars Battle Royale would be a game that I might buy into. Ooh.
Yeah, but do you think it'd honestly be done well?
No, it would be awful. It would be just like PlayStation's All-Star Battle Royale.
Yep.
A niche, awful game that some people like and a lot of people will forget about, but I still have a copy on my shelf at home.
Okay. So can I pitch this guy back to the shelf?
Um.
Get away from me.
Yeah, we can we can unhatted our. Thank you very much for your service, Conspiracy Baseball.
Now, what were you saying about games you've been playing? What you've been watching?
Had the distinctive pleasure of now finishing all of the plot line of the what's currently going on in Valheim. It was awesome to get to game with so many fun people, to do that and to be a part of a gaming group and to see how far our characters have come and things of that nature. It was so much fun. Um, Overwatch is entering its third week of its event for the anniversary. I have unlocked a Reinhardt skin that I'm pretty happy for. Still getting for that Zenyatta skin. And last week on the weekend, Wednesday, Steve was ever so gracious enough to help us get our first ever gold weapon,
Okay.
which requires competitive points. So my Bastion now has a gold gun.
Excuse me, everyone.
And
I'm
it
so
was
sorry.
so awesome to have that and to beep boop it up with the beep boop militia. I really did think Boder was warming up to Conspiracy Baseball too. I really did. Between that and getting ready for both St. Jude's Play Live and then the week I'm spending in San Francisco for my sister's wedding, crossing I's, dotting T's, and things like that. It's been hectic, to say the least.
Okay, so we mentioned Super Game. Let's go from there and see who else is messing around with crypto and NFTs in the gaming world. The answer is a lot. I'm going to try to go through. Were you aiming for the garbage can?
No.
Okay, because you were like 4 feet off.
Yeah.
I was at least aiming for it. What if I punched a hole through that post? Do you think Dan would be mad?
Yes,
All right.
I think you'd be furious.
I think you would. Damn it, Dudeckerus, you're right, and I hate that. Boder is Sundare to Conspiracy Baseball. I hate how right that is. Anyway, okay. Really quick, let's see. First thing that I saw regarding NFTs, and sure, you can introduce our over here. Yeah. First story that I came across regarding NFTs, you may remember one of the things that kicked off the whole craze of, oh my gosh, there's a lot of money in this, was that someone bought an NFT that represented the first tweet for the equivalent of $2.9 million. That was early last year. Sometime after that, the purchaser spent some time in jail in Iran for disrupting the economic system and was just recently released. During the time that he was imprisoned, most of his ventures crashed. You know, whatever he had going. Oh, without active work, the grift falls apart. Huh. Interesting. And he decided to raise some capital by selling that NFT of the first ever tweet. He placed the bid, what he wanted to sell it for, at the equivalent of $48 million. Again, I use the equivalent because it's being sold for a cryptocurrency that then exchange rates, whatever.
Oh, so nothing. It's being sold for nothing. Good, okay.
Well, I don't think it was sold because the highest offer he got was for $3,600.
I'm sorry. You know what? We have a fundraiser for
Less than 1% of his asking price.
we have a fundraiser for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and you can give us $3,600, and we'll give you a prompt picture of fuck all. If that's really what you
I'll
want to
send
spend
you
your
a
money on.
picture of the tweet I had that did numbers over the weekend in response for $3,600 for St. Jude. I'll
Yeah.
send you a picture. And you know what? No need to involve the blockchain. Just here, have a JPEG. It might even be a PNG because I love you that much. Let's see, what else? Oh, you know what? I do want to talk about this one. You guys may know that I'm an affiliate for Ritual Motion. Ritual Motion is a gaming and lifestyle wellness brand. A gaming lifestyle brand focuses on wellness. We've talked to some people from Ritual Motion on the program before. We've talked about stuff that they have going on, and how they've kind of evolved over the years. Their latest evolution is a pivot to crypto and NFTs and create to earn economies and stuff like that. They're leveraging their guild platform, which is kind of like seminars and live streams and stuff like that. They are going to leverage that with their own token that is going to supposedly pay back creators, but is really meant to line the pockets of, people that want to get rich at the company. Um, because of that, I and some other affiliates uh, renounced our affiliateship with the company. Now, it didn't cost me anything to be an affiliate. It didn't cost them anything, but it was something that I there's not even a list of affiliates whatever anywhere, but I'm like I cannot be affiliated with a company when this is the turn that you're making. On social media when they're posting about it, all the response is negative, and it's really frustrating when it's very clear that like a year ago, maybe you can explore NFTs, you can try it, and then you can find out and backpedal. By now, it's obvious that you don't care about what you say you do. You're just trying to get a quick buck. I mentioned that they sold some NFTs, or they tried to sell NFTs. I don't know if they actually sold back in December to raise money for Toys for Tots. But it's just so antithetical to a lot of things that they stand for as a company. Um, Speculation. Pretend I'm putting the hat back on because I don't feel like grabbing the tinfoil again. A lot of people in the community management have left the company. The person who was an affiliate manager ended up taking less time and like focusing on, all right, I'm just doing affiliates. This person over here is going to be community manager. Then a couple months later, they both left. I cannot say for sure that it's because of the direction that they could tell that the company was going in, but it would not surprise me either. Um, it's just really disappointing because it was a company that I believed in. I got into them because they had the gaming skins that help with a lot of problems and wrists and arms and stuff while gaming. They do like the gaming glasses and stuff like that. They took a hard turn into, well, we are going to be a wellness and lifestyle thing. We're going to do blogs about good habits, healthy habits in gaming, and diversity, and we're going to sell like vitamin supplements and healthy snacks as opposed to like just getting Cheetos or whatever. And I was like, I'm on board with this. They got that great community manager that last year we came together as a community, did some really cool things. We raised money for Toys for Tots as groups, as people working together, and it was just so exciting. And for them to throw away all that goodwill like this is really disappointing. So that one, that feels a little personal. So I don't know if you have anything to add. I know I've certainly mentioned Ritual Motion a lot. Again, we talked to Crystal, who I believe was VP of Product. Yeah, I don't know if you had anything to add on that.
I'm just very sorry to hear that a company whose message resonated quite well with the whole thing we're all doing with using video games as a launching point and broadcasting it as a way of gathering and especially during times where people can't gather in person, it was very important to have that and all these things. And it's unfortunate that, well, for me, that's a lazy way of making money. And it's really unfortunate that they're choosing the laziest way possible to line their pockets off the back of the things that they were doing. And screw off.
Yeah. I was invited to send an email to the CEO after the Toys for Tots NFTs went out. And I did, and then I didn't hear anything back for a couple weeks, and I mentioned it to the affiliate manager at the time. And then I got a response that was very clearly voice transcription with like no proofreading at all. It felt like an utter lack of respect. I appreciate that I was given the opportunity to email the CEO directly and then get a response back, but it was just full of like
But
platitudes.
did you? And were you? 'Cause,
I mean, It had to have been from the CEO because anyone in a communication department wouldn't have sent that email. Not only was it the very like, oh, well, it's kind of like blows off whatever, but like some of the quotes from it were just very poorly written, bad grammar and spelling throughout. I can't imagine it came from anyone but the CEO. So like, I appreciate that you took the time, but
Thank you so much for the raid, Griff Kuba, and welcome.
yeah,
Um,
thank you so much for dropping by. What's up?
We're in the middle of our NFT roundup, which is why you can see the NFT car in Fuego, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a few more things about NFTs, but because we're already more than halfway into the program, I don't mind sending those to table topics. What do you have?
I mean, you don't have to. We're not like
I
on a
know.
hard. You've been doing this the last couple weeks, man. We have
I-
time. Let it breathe. I know you want to get to the Citadel,
like-
but I'm here too, dude. We have our time.
I'm sorry. I have other topics too. Okay. 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 So so how about this one for NFTs? Blizzard. Blizzard sends out surveys semi-regularly to get the temperature of its players. What are you interested in? What's exciting in gaming to you? What do you want to see in games? What can we do, etc.?
Monthly. I would
Monthly.
say I, as somebody that actively engages in their content, I see in my spam folder. We'd like to hear your opinion on BUP. Like,
Okay.
So-
Yeah. And in the latest one that went out, they asked a question. Which of the following are you interested in? And crypto/NFTs was just one out of like 5 or 6 radial buttons. Or it was like how much you're interested in this, and you had the agree to strongly disagree kind of thing. And like a lot of people got really upset that they were even asking. Which, to be fair, a lot of companies will ask and then do it anyway. The sense that I get, and I could be totally off base here. Well, also, in response to that, Blizzard head Mikey Barra responded, "No one is doing NFTs." So either, well, that's what he would say, aha! Or I think that investors are like, hey, you should do NFTs because that's what everyone's doing. And all the developers are like, how about no? They would crucify us. Yeah, who cares about the public perception? The one's getting crucified. Thanks. Oh, what can it hurt? Just do the thing. How about we ask people when we come back to you with numbers? Hey, do you guys want NFTs? Sounds like they said no. Well, fine.
What else can I help you with?
You can stay away from NFTs. We'd appreciate it.
take your fucking severance check and get out, Bobo! I do also find it funny that a lot of the news sources that talked about this have also breezed over the fact that the surveys you get sent are generic, like letterhead, and aren't necessarily like Blizzard specific.
Okay.
It's just company A wants a survey on current topics. And
Yeah.
it's a wide field of.
Yeah.
And I think it's not out of the character of Activision Blizzard to slyly start mentioning something over here, so when you get mad about it and they wind up doing it, you're not as mad as you would have been had they have just sprung it on you. In the case of if they decide to go for it. But in the case of this, like, it's just funny that, like,
Yeah, or
I'm
even if like
glad
Go ahead.
that what's happening is people are saying, hey, Activision Blizzard, you have a whole host of fantastic artists and excellent visuals and things like that, and it would be a damn shame for you to put them on a wet, sullied, just stenchy diaper that is an NFT. It
Yeah.
would be a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and even if in good faith, that even if it was like we're thinking about this, let's get their opinions first. Oh, okay.
I mean, the other half is...
And then they get to be good guys and saying, we're not going to do that after they've asked and made sure.
I'd rather companies explore options and especially be above board about what they're looking at and exploring. And it's awesome that Fortune 500 companies do send out little things like this.
Yeah.
Because then maybe you can avoid the cascade of bad publicity that you've been getting because you can't seem to get out of your own way there, Activision Blizzard. This could be a really just sarcastic and ham-fisted good news thing, but it would be positive news. And it's been a while since we've had that, hasn't it?
Yeah. Let's see.
Yosuke Matsuda,
Yeah.
Square Enix president,
Okay.
thought he would be all slick and all smart and speak to, on the 15th, Yahoo Japan. And his conversation with them was translated by Video Games Chronicle, by the way. But I'm going to read exactly what he said. We've talked about this dickwipe and his opinions on NFTs, but translated, of course. But it's, if instead of relying on goodwill, we could also provide incentives to those who contribute to developing by utilizing technologies such as blockchain, there is a possibility that innovative and interesting content can be created from the ideas of users.
I feel like my spidey sense is tingling. Did we talk about this before? Some of those translated? No, not this particular one. I know we talked about one with Sega, and we talked about. I feel like we talked about it as Square Enix one.
Yes, Matsuda on this program has been quoted about
Yeah.
being very open to NFTs, to being very receptive to the blockchain and all these ideas and things like that.
Yeah, and apparently is still going on about it.
Yep. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. And it's funny that even after all the backlash that he has received, he still continues to divide gamers into, and this was the big thing that he was quoted in talking about when we first talked about it, which was there are some who play
Right.
to have fun, and some who currently, for the majority of players, have voiced their reservations for I was just talking about play to innovate and play to have fun.
Right, yeah, that was
Um,
the quote I was thinking about. The idea of play to have fun. Ugh, gross. If you're not making money, you're not doing it right kind of mentality.
Yep. The
Hyper-capitalism.
what have you done for me lately? Like,
Yeah, and so like this latest quote is very much not only that, but also piggybacking off the creativity of their users, aka the Roblox way to do business. So gross. Shut up and make another Deus Ex game and don't speak another fucking word until you get Elias Defexis back on the mic. Sorry, that's what I want out
No.
of Square Enix.
good. Hell. Any I want some fixes on Final Fantasy X remaster, by the way, and I'll have war rants about that one day when I stream my Blitzball team. Any other crypto stuffs?
No, I'm gonna hold on to that one. That one's kind of a follow-up, but it's seriously, this would take 10 minutes to even give you the background about what's going on with Axie Infinity right now. So no,
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
You can check out tabled topics in the Discord
Yes,
linked
please
down
do.
below, where Boulder does a very good job of writing up the stories that he hasn't gotten through and things like that. And that's going to be my New Year's resolution, is getting better at writing responses to these things, because I'm currently on the struggle bus with stuff like that, but we'll get there.
Dave, it's currently April 19th. I think your next New Year's resolution should be about getting resolutions in on time.
Next year's Dave will have that one.
Okay. Let's see. We talked Blizzard when we were talking that they're not going to go into NFTs. So it's like, hey, good guy Blizzard, you're keeping up the good news, right? I mean, they did finally fully absorb Vicarious Visions, which is now officially Blizzard Albany. How do you feel about this, Dave? Good news, bad news?
First of all, everyone was acting like that was a surprise.
Yeah.
Which when they were contracted by Activision to do remasters of things and do work, that made sense.
They were still Vicarious Visions,
Yep.
and I think that like Activision held an ownership stake in them.
Yep.
But they were their own separate studio with their own identity. Even if they were mostly working on Activision games and ports.
it's everyone's talking about the end of an era, and it is, and it's very sad that Vicarious Vision just stops.
Yep.
It'll go into the footnotes of history as it was bought out by Activision. It was transferred to be a Blizzard studio, and Blizzard converted it to Blizzard Albany. But on the other hand, Vicarious Vision survived a pandemic. Vicarious Vision survived many controversies with Activision Blizzard being one of their subsidiaries and related to them and things like that. And I feel like this only serves to help the employees and workers there specifically in bolstering up some resume pieces, in now having links in a larger size Rolodex that they may not have had opportunity to. I'm looking at it in a positive way,
Mhm.
in the idea that their palette, their phone book is now 4 times bigger than it could have been as a separate entity.
Yeah.
Um, I'm viewing it as a potential strengthening and a chance to pull more resources to the capital district as well. Perhaps we start getting some Blizzard related events, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have our number. You know our studio. We're right here.
Mhm.
We're a 45-minute drive away from you. We'd be happy to collab sometime, perhaps during track season, maybe. All you rich people, you like horses. You like NFTs more now, but you liked horses. Horses were great. You should go back to that. Ah, you can put the NFTs on the horses. They can ride the horses. It'll be great.
Is Naira going to be doing NFTs? Do you know?
I'm gonna just for headache's sake. We have to cut.
Well,
You know what? For headache's sake, that's what we'll call this segment.
Oh my God.
And Naira.
While you look that up, my
NFT.
thoughts are that yeah, I'm sad because it had its own identity, and now it's just part of Blizzard. It sucks that someone who was at the head of the company, Jen O'Neill, had the opportunity to do something great, supposedly, when she was made co-head of Blizzard, but then it's apparent that she actually wasn't given the power to do anything at all and just left. So that guiding hand that could have kept Blizzard Albany as a unique voice isn't there anymore. There are plenty of people still at Blizzard Albany who can keep that unique spirit going, um, depending on how the organization chart looks. Um, it's possible that they're going to bring a fresh face, and fresh ideas, and possibly even be working on something all new for Blizzard rather than just ports. I don't know though. I hope. I would love for Blizzard's next major IP to be something that was chiefly developed at Blizzard Albany, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
It could
It
be.
could. That's what I hope. So
We started the program with tinfoil, and now we're just continually going into, man, this would have been a good tinfoil. So
NFT cutie marks on the horses. It's a My Little Pony thing.
I was going to say, right over my head. We did play My Little Pony Shoots and Ladders in my classroom, and all of my kids know who all the ponies are, even though they were plastic approximations of them. And I thought that was cool as hell that they were able to identify the character, even though, like, for visual sake for you guys on stream, like, this literally is how big the characters are, and that's the distance the kids were from them. And they were like, oh, that's this person. And I was like, sure, do you want this one?
Do you want Rainbow Dash?
Like-
Yeah.
Like, it was great. And I think that's really cool that IP is continuing to live on. Because there's so many of my childhood things that didn't survive, and I'm really mad about.
I was a brony for a while. It's true.
Speaking of our friends at ActiBleez, some related, unrelated, tangentially scandalous news. I know Rainbow Dash from Death Battle.
I could still definitely name the main six.
Is it like Care Bears where there's like 48 of them?
I mean, so My Little Pony is now, and I think it's like 7th generation, in that like its storylines and characters and such will start again. But the previous one, the one that like felt a resurgence, there was 6 main characters. That is, of course, main spelled Mane. And then probably about a dozen like side character. You get it? Probably about a dozen side characters. And then just like bit characters that kind of come and go.
Huh. All right.
But of course, all the background characters get their own merch and such too. I have a couple of them. I still have vinyl figures of some of the background characters. So,
Hell yeah. To each their own.
including Dr. Hooves.
Oh God. I'm seeing why, and I'm seeing. So
Next time you're at my place, I'll point them out to you.
so recently, current events in the state of California that we're so all very much in love with.
Uh-huh.
Former
Careful about these topics. They are known to cause cancer.
former
That's your Prop 65
DFEH.
warning.
It really freaked me out they had that label on fucking Cheerios in California. I used to do this as stand-up. California, cancer causes skin cancer, okay? You have to start blaming the sun for some of this stuff. You can't blame the bowl of Cheerio milk combination that a kid had in the morning. Everything had those labels. Everything. Contains carcinogens that have been known to cause cancer in the state of California. It's Cheerios! It was a slushie! It's a Slim Jim! God! Everything! So, the former DFEH, Department of Fair Employment and Housing, Assistant Chief Counsel, announced that they are stepping down this week, and they are citing the fact that the governor's office interfered in the DFEH's investigation and proceedings against Activision Blizzard. Also citing the sacking of former chief counsel Janet Whipper, who, by the way, we talked about a story a little while ago about Riot getting in trouble for these things and owning up to and making changes based upon the mistakes that they had made, and getting slapped with a $100 million penalty, whereas Activision Blizzard got an $18 million penalty, even though they're bigger than Riot.
Well,
Weird.
Well, again, that 18 was from the federal government. I don't think the state one has even gone through yet.
The state one, unfortunately, has lost a lot of its legs because of the ruling, and so more will be coming from this because they are going to be seeking about legislation about being a whistleblower in regards to these things. But this reminds us of Bobby.
What else can I help you with?
You can get out. You can get out now. You've caused enough problems and continue to be a problem. You can go. If you think Microsoft is going to keep your pig haunches around, you are mistaken, sir. Yeah. So that's our Activision Blizzard news.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay. You know what? I want to end on this topic. So why don't you go ahead and continue? Let me know. Toss it back to me for the final topic, because this is just a feel-good thing at the end. You know, like when you're watching news on ABC and they have like 2 minutes at the end for like, and here's one thing that doesn't make you want to die. After this, we kick it over to Howie for Deal or No Deal.
Here's a squirrel on skis. Yay!
Yay! Yeah, I've got that story at the end.
So this is neither good news nor bad news. It's an auspicious sign. Our friends over at CD Projekt Red announced that the Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition, which was going to be for the PS5, the Series X, and PC, was going to be a Q2 launch for 2022. And on the 13th announced that it was going to be delayed until further notice.
Oh, right. They didn't even pick a specific date. They just said it's not coming out yet.
What I like about why they're what I like about the fact that they announced that is this is going to be The Witcher 3, from 2007. All the
Is it
DLC
from that long ago?
or 17. Steve, can you look up when The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt came out,
I
please?
want to say it was like sometime between 2013 and 2016.
So, all the DLC and
It's not as
expansions,
old as Skyrim.
they were going to be adding ray tracing, and they were going to be changing the load times and things like that,
Yep.
and updating, kicking the graphics up a little bit.
Yeah, 2015. Okay.
Good,
So
good.
they're giving it that shot of adrenaline for the next gen.
So they announced after they were working with the company that did the Switch port for The Witcher 3, they were seeing the direction the work was going in, things like that. Thank you so much, Love Alec, as well. Um, I streamed Witcher 3 once on the weekend Wednesday. Had a great time, but man, those games I can't stream. I shouldn't stream those because it was just like God of War, where 45 minutes into the stream, we hadn't finished anything, we hadn't done anything, nothing had transpired, and then we started to do stuff, and it was 11:45, and I wanted to do a thing, and so we wound up finishing the stream at like 1:30 in the morning. But they want to finish and want to do the finishing touches on The Witcher 3 Enhanced on their in-house development. And I think
Yeah, because wasn't there some drama with the team that they had working on that?
I didn't hear anything or read anything about that, but
I
it
could be
wouldn't
wrong.
surprise me. The other half is I know that the patches and fixes that are coming out for
Cyberpunk?
I was thinking of how to dramatically soft shoe in Cyberpunk because that's still a very nuclear word to say.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, better to
they're-
rip the Band-Aid
they're-
off.
Their most recent release, now that it is finally up to an acceptable point, because they had to divert resources to work on that. Now that they and most gaming community is happy with the status of that, now they can refocus and properly figure out how much time it's going to take to do what they wanted to do. Now that they've got resources back on the project. Also, CD Projekt Red is heinous when it comes to crunch. And as much as they say we're not gonna, they did a lot for Cyberpunk. So it's always kind of promising when they say we're not gonna set a date right now because it would hurt a lot for us to keep it.
It's always good when companies that have gotten in trouble for doing a thing show unprompted some change and some positive change. We'll wait.
Now let's see if
We'll
that
wait for it.
actually happens when it gets down to the wire. But
Yes, we'll wait. I'll buy the deluxe edition. I will because the other half of it was
because like Demon Dragon, I own it on Steam. I haven't touched it. I don't think I've installed it.
they are going to be offering
I should do that on Brunch with
as
Brother.
they did for the Series X and PS5. It is potentially going to just be a $10 upgrade to get all that stuff, and I'll do that gladly. I might even buy a physical edition if they do that Gwent card pack again. But to each their own. And CD Projekt Red, you take the time to make these things. I'm just saying, if you include a million different remixes of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, I will pay however much you want for it. I will.
I don't care if the game and the series are separated by the book. I don't care. Give me that soundtrack. I want a trap remix.
So I will table the World of Warcraft Dragonflight topic. A lot of fun, really excited. Congratulations to all the World of Warcraft community on getting an expansion that looks really awesome. More information about that will be posted in the tabled topics thing. But thank you very much, Rafe Wolf, for your concise reporting on same. But one more thing before I kick it over to you, Boater, because something came on my my computer and I got really excited for it. And I don't know that you've seen this. But you are going to be reacting to it with a little bit of ducks, says everybody. You're going to be reacting with it on stream delay.
Okay.
But this is something really cool that I'm very excited for in recent events.
Okay, so you set the button. It takes about 5 seconds for it to show up here on our preview screen. Here we go. I can hear the clicky clacky. I can't actually hear what's going on here, but I can hear it in my head. I hear the dice. They make me happy. What? Oh, I know that. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Have they done? Okay, so just saw D&D Direct. Is that like more or less like when we talk like Nintendo Direct? Is that more or less there's gonna be a press conference about D&D?
Bango!
Cool.
This Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on the Wizards of the Coast website, on their Wizards of the Coast YouTube, and the Dungeons and Dragons Twitch and the Wizards of the Coast Twitch, they are going to be talking about the books, the games, and the entertainment associated with it, and more. They teased. They knowing that Hasbro had purchased Wizards of the Coast, there really hasn't been much from the D&D camp. But with the
there was a decent sized rule book that came out last year that made a fair amount of changes. But yeah, nothing
yes.
earth shattering.
So, but with the recent expansion of because they need the bump here, Matt Mercer's D&D group.
Critical Role?
Yes, with the bump in Critical Role, them getting a television deal and all these other things, I have a feeling that Hasbro Wizards of the Coast and the Dungeons & Dragons franchise is going to be in for more, bigger scope, and finally have...
Oh my gosh, maybe they'll announce the Dungeons & Dragons movie that'll be in theaters. We never had one of those before.
Never.
Have you watched it? It wasn't awful.
No, it wasn't. But we've never had a D&D movie. We've never had a good D&D movie. We've had a very good fantasy Wayne's movie, which means it's a comedy. It was very funny. There were very good moments of that film.
Jeremy Irons ate so much scenery. It was fantastic.
Anytime he was on camera, you could just hear him in between lines going...
Like, that's one of those things where he looks at the script and he's like, this is garbage. I can have fun with this.
This is absolute crap. I'm not doing it. Looks at Czech in the other hand. Well, I'll just eat the scenery.
I'm not doing it. Looks at Czech. Well, it's not high enough for me to take it seriously, but I can still do it.
I'm really excited to see what this gets announced. There's many things it could be, and I have a feeling that it won't be cryptocurrency. I just know that the baseline will be there will be no DLC announcements, there will be no NFTs, and I'm just so jazzed about that in 2022! Way to go, Dungeons & Dragons! Yeah!
Dave, you're making assumptions. Hey, let's feel good about something. So, one of my favorite things in video games is when something happens that the developers didn't plan for. A story comes out of the game based entirely on what the community is doing. Emergent gameplay, emergent stories. Elden Ring is hard.
Yes.
It's a From Software game. It's got some really hard bosses. The hardest boss in the game is considered to be the hardest boss that From Software has ever made. This is Millennia, Blade of Mikela. So when players like Sazid813 have a tough time trying 30 or more times to beat her, they finally look to summon another player to assist, something that has been a staple for these sorts of games for a while. And if those players are on the PC, and if they are lucky, they may see a tarnished by the name of Let Me Solo Her. And should they summon Let Me Solo Her, they will be greeted by a man wearing only underwear and a jar over his head, wielding 2 katanas, who will then proceed to absolutely school the hardest boss in the game.
I was going to say, the more ridiculous the person looks, the more powerful and dangerous they are in From Software games.
Is this about Let Me Solo Her? This man is a legend. I love reading about this stuff. Let Me Solo Her has assisted hundreds of players at this point. Various publications have talked to the player behind them, and they're like, yeah, like I tried for hours to beat this boss, and when I did, it was so satisfying. I love just learning all the little bits of timing and everything like that. And so they made a character specifically to go through the game and to get to that point to be able to help people. Um, and sometimes there's like copies, someone who's like, let me solo her, and they're not doing as well. And then when the original player's like, oh, well, what if I help? They just run away. You're not letting me solo them. That's not the original player. The original player, sure, if you want to help, whatever. But otherwise, I got this. They don't all the time. They still sometimes lose due to lag through the other player or whatever. But he's done interviews. Generally, a cool dude. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting too. I looked at an earlier interview and it was like, don't use my name. It's just go. Let me go by. Let me solo her. Or like a later one was like, oh yeah, it's a YouTuber by this name and he's posted this. Um, it's just really cool, and like the community absolutely loves the guy. There is fan art. There is lots of fan art. Um,
Really?
yeah, like a full 3D sculpt in ZBrush of, almost naked guy with Joran had two katanas against the hardest boss in the game, kind of thing. Um, yeah, it's amazing. If you add fan art to that search, oh my, hold up,
There's a Wikipedia page.
there is a Wikipedia page.
Huh.
That's amazing.
It's
I
a
need to read that.
deep one. Good God.
I mean, the community loves you that much, they will come together and make the Wikipedia page. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a conversation going on the talk page about notability or whatever, but yeah, it's cool. And I really like that. Like, this happens to be one player that the community is gathered around, but seeing stuff like that, when I read Empires of Eve, that was some of the coolest stuff, was when it was a player that was doing a thing or a group of people that made such an impact. And yeah, like the fact that it's just so well received, and it's a lot of fun. It's a something that I could not avoid this whole week, like popping up on all my various news feeds from PC Gamer, from Kotaku, from Eurogamer, etc. Like multiple stuff on all these outlets, and just something I wanted to share for those that aren't drowning in gaming news like I am. It's fun. So I maybe should have sent a couple of those fan art pictures to Steve to put up there. But don't some people didn't some people make him a modded NPC summon? Yes, they did. Um, they modded a spirit into the game based on Let Me Solo Her as well. And getting to the point where clearly it's the character, like the account belongs to one player, but it's very rapidly turning into a character that belongs to the community. So I like it. I like it.
That's awesome. And also one of the really cool things that I know from software games especially, but it happens in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
The people that learn about these things before other people do, that make the mistakes and want to share the passion, but also the pain of learning to do these things, of getting better at characters, weapons, spells, whatever it is. Um, it's people like Let Me Solo Her that show that uh, uh, there are people out there that are here to play, and there are people out here that are here to elevate.
And that you can make the game better by not doing play to earn. So, fuck you,
Yosuke, sit down.
With that said, that's all the time we have. That's more than the time we had for tonight. So thank you very much for joining us. I am on the Citadel. Next, I'm going to be playing a game from the Xbox 360, Xbox Live Arcade days called Aqua, a twin stick steampunk naval shooter.
Cool.
I've played it before. It's fun. And man, after playing Elix the last few weeks and I rage quit it last week, I just want something simple. So join me for that. After this, we go offline for 5 minutes, move everything that way, 10-minute countdown, and I'll see you on the Citadel. In the meantime, this has been the Nerd Glasses Podcast, and thank you so much for joining us. I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Mann.
And we will see you next week, 7:45, right here at Insane Games TV. Bye, everybody!